if Supergirl's biggest problem wasn't its box office, but what happened after it left theaters? For weeks, DC Studios insisted the movie would find a second life through digital sales. Fans were told the theatrical numbers didn't tell the whole story and that streaming would eventually change the conversation. But now, new developments are raising even more questions about the future of the DC universe. As reports of weak digital performance continue circulating, new comments from Millie Alcock are adding even more fuel to an already heated debate. Her latest remarks have sparked fresh reactions across social media, while many fans are asking whether this controversy could have a much bigger impact on James Gunn's long-term DC plans, including Man of Tomorrow. And once you hear everything that's being said, you'll understand why this story is becoming one of the biggest talking points surrounding the future of DC Studios. Before we jump into all the details, if you're new to the Woke Watch, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We cover the biggest Hollywood stories, DC updates, Marvel news, and entertainment controversies every single day. Welcome back, everyone. As of August 2nd, 2026, the conversation surrounding Supergirl still hasn't died down. In fact, the focus has now shifted away from the theatrical release and toward the film's performance on digital platforms. Following months of debate over the movie's disappointing box office run, attention has now turned to whether the digital release can help change the narrative. Instead, according to ongoing reports and online discussion, the movie continues facing significant challenges, creating yet another difficult moment for both Warner Bros. Discovery and DC Studios. Throughout the past several weeks, we've seen James Gunn, Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav, Millie Alcock, and screenwriter Anna Nogueira repeatedly defend the project through interviews and public comments. The message has remained largely the same. The film's journey isn't over, and success shouldn't be measured by theatrical numbers alone. However, as digital performance becomes another major topic of discussion, those reassurances are now facing even greater scrutiny. One reason this conversation has become even more significant is because Supergirl isn't an isolated project. The character is expected to play a major role in the future of James Gunn's interconnected DC universe, particularly in the upcoming Man of Tomorrow. That means every conversation surrounding this film has the potential to influence audience confidence in future DC projects as well. And that's where Millie Alcock's recent comments have generated even more attention. Over the past several months, she has openly discussed Kara Zor-El's importance to the future of the franchise. She has also previously suggested that future stories will showcase Supergirl as an incredibly powerful figure within the DC universe, even hinting that audiences may see her portrayed as stronger than Superman in certain situations. Those remarks alone created plenty of debate among DC fans. Now, with Supergirl continuing to struggle commercially, many viewers are revisiting those earlier statements and questioning how they could affect audience expectations heading into Man of Tomorrow. But another major development has now shifted the spotlight back onto Millie herself. As discussions surrounding the movie's digital performance continue growing, Alcock has once again spoken publicly about the criticism surrounding the film. According to her, while the digital marketplace has proven to be far more difficult than expected, she believes it's far too early for people to write the movie off completely. Instead, she argues that much of the negative reaction reflects what she describes as an increasingly toxic fandom culture, one that she believes has unfairly targeted both her and screenwriter Anna Nogueira. She went on to say that the backlash isn't simply about the quality of the movie. In her view, much of the criticism stems from resistance toward female-led stories that focus on empowerment, arguing that many viewers rejected the project before giving it a fair chance. According to Alcock, both she and Anna Nogueira have endured months of personal attacks throughout the film's release. She believes the criticism has gone far beyond normal movie reviews and has crossed into something much more personal, saying that online campaigns against the film have affected not only its commercial performance, but also the people involved in making it. She also encouraged audiences to separate entertainment from online outrage, reminding people that, at the end of the day, Supergirl is simply a movie intended to entertain audiences rather than divide them. Millie continued by arguing that, in her opinion, Supergirl represents something much bigger than just another superhero movie. She described Kara Zor-El as one of the strongest female role models DC has introduced in years and praised the creative direction behind the project. According to her, both James Gunn and Peter Safran gave the creative team the freedom to tell a story centered around a modern female hero, while screenwriter Anna Nogueira delivered a script she believes deserves far more appreciation than it has received. Alcock also pushed back against what she views as personal attacks aimed at both herself and Nogueira. She argued that criticism is one thing, but harassment and sexist remarks are something entirely different. In her view, no filmmaker or actor should have to deal with that simply for taking part in a movie. She then ended her message by encouraging fans who haven't seen Supergirl yet to check it out through its digital release. saying that supporting the film now would also support the future of the DC universe and the projects that connect directly to Man of Tomorrow. Now, let's pause there for a moment, because that's where this entire situation becomes interesting. Listening to those comments, it almost sounds as though Millie is making one final appeal for audiences to give the movie another chance. The challenge, however, is the current digital marketplace itself. Unlike streaming, where subscribers can simply press play without spending anything extra, digital platforms require viewers to either rent or purchase the movie separately. And that's often a difficult sell, especially for a film that has already struggled to build positive momentum. This isn't unique to Supergirl. Almost every major studio releases films digitally shortly after theaters in hopes of recovering additional revenue. It's become a standard business strategy across Hollywood. The problem is that this approach only works if enough people are still interested in paying for the movie. And according to ongoing discussions surrounding the film, that appears to be the biggest obstacle right now. But Millie wasn't finished. She went on to acknowledge that digital distribution is, in her words, a very challenging business model, but insisted that declaring the movie a failure at this stage would be premature. Instead, she expressed confidence that the film could gradually build a loyal audience over time. She suggested that Supergirl may eventually become what many movies achieve years after release, a cult classic. In her opinion, the movie's long-term value shouldn't be measured only by early digital sales. She believes continued exposure through streaming platforms could introduce the film to entirely new audiences, potentially bringing additional viewers to HBO Max once the movie arrives there. She argued that the story still has another chapter ahead of it. From her perspective, digital isn't the end of the journey. It's simply another step before streaming. Now here's something worth thinking about. Notice how the overall conversation surrounding Supergirl has continued to evolve over the past several months. At first, the focus was entirely on the theatrical box office. Supporters of the film argued that audiences should wait until the movie finished its run before drawing conclusions. Then the discussion shifted. The next argument became digital sales. The idea was that home releases would paint a much more positive picture than the theatrical numbers. And now, with digital performance becoming another point of debate, the focus appears to be shifting once again, this time towards streaming. The latest argument suggests that Supergirl could eventually find new life by reaching a broader audience through subscription platforms and, over time, earn the reputation of being an underrated film. Whether that ultimately happens remains to be seen. But it's clear the conversation has moved from box office to digital and now toward long-term streaming performance as the next major benchmark. And that alone shows just how much attention continues to surround this movie months after its theatrical release. Millie also pushed back against critics who say the movie failed because of its story. According to her, many viewers are misunderstanding Kara Zor-El's journey. She believes the film contains a meaningful redemption arc and that audiences need to look beyond the surface to understand what the story is trying to say. In her view, Kara grows throughout the movie and ultimately becomes a positive role model for women and young girls. However, that's where many critics strongly disagree. A lot of viewers argue that the redemption arc simply isn't convincing. They believe the character's actions in the final act contradict the message the movie tries to deliver, making it difficult to connect with Kara's overall journey. For many fans, the biggest issue isn't the cast, it's the screenplay. Much of the criticism has been directed toward writer Anna Nogueira, with some questioning whether she had enough blockbuster experience to handle a project of this scale. Even so, James Gunn has continued to stand behind her work. Not only has he defended the Supergirl script, but she's also still attached to the upcoming Wonder Woman film. Millie has also spoken positively about that project, saying she's excited about what Anna has planned and describing the new Wonder Woman story as another modern take on a powerful female hero. That announcement has already sparked debate online, with many fans wondering whether the same creative approach that divided audiences over Supergirl could create similar reactions for Wonder Woman. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. Plans can always change during development, so it'll be interesting to see whether DC Studios keeps moving in the same direction or decides to make adjustments before production moves forward. So now it's your turn. Do you think Supergirl still has a chance to build a larger audience through streaming, or has the film already lost too much momentum? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the Woke Watch, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Hollywood and DC updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.